The Maryland punk rockers Turnstile have returned with their brand new album, Never Enough. This was something that they have been teasing for a while, releasing singles, and the singles had me hyped for this thing, definitely, as they were one of those local bands that I got to, get to know and listen to and have really enjoyed their music over the years. And then when I got to see them live opening for Blink-182 a couple years ago, that pretty much solidified my fandom for them overall. And this new album contains 14 tracks and kind of continues the trend of what they were doing on their previous album, where they're adding more synthesizers into their sound rather than just being a straight punk record. Don't get me wrong, there's punky moments on here, but I think the synthesizers are used a lot more than they were on the previous record. The only song I can say I didn't really find myself liking was Ceiling. It's like a minute and 15 seconds. It kind of acts more as an interlude, so, it is what it is there. And then when we get to the okay tracks, Dreaming and Magic Man, I feel like with Magic Man, it's the final track on the album. It kind of left me disappointed as an album closer. I don't know, I wasn't feeling it as much. Like, was it a terrible song? No, but I was kind of expecting something more epic at the end of it. Not necessarily like punk and heavy and whatever, just something more memorable and something that would leave me going, oh, that's it? I want to hear more of the album, where it's Magic Man is kind of like, yeah, okay, it ended, cool, there's that. But hey, the rest of the album after that is my absolute favorite. We talked about the title track kicking things off. That was the first taste we heard of this record. It's nice. I mean, even at the end when you kind of get like that minute and 20-second instrumental leading into the next song, I don't know, it just kind of embodies what this album overall is and sound-wise what it sounds like. And we get Soul. That's kind of when we start hearing, what we expect from Turnstile when it comes to the more punk-leaning moments, along with songs like I Care, Light Design, Dull is an underrated track, Sun Shower, Look Out For Me is also great. And then we go into Seeing Stars and Birds, which were the other two songs I had heard from this record. They kind of, released them as one single together. Seeing Stars is definitely, again, one of their more different leaning tracks, where they kind of, rely more on heavy synthesizers and a more funky sound. But then when we get into Birds, that's like when the punch just comes in and you're like, this is the Turnstile we've come to know and love. Slow Drive and then Time Is Happening are the last two tracks that I think were my absolute favorites on here. They just kind of pack a punch in their own way, and I believe Time Is Happening was also, or one of these songs was 6 minutes long, almost 7 minutes, so, you when you just think that Turnstile can only write these short kind of songs, you kind of, get proven wrong when they're able to make a banger that's almost 7 minutes long. All in all, I like the growth of where this band is going. They're not strictly straight punk anymore, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. They're adding to their sound. It's making them more interesting. And although there are some moments from this album where I can say, it kind of sounds similar to this, like Never Enough just kind of reminds me of Mystery in a way, the first single from the last album, because of how, similar it is. But at least they're still trying to figure themselves out. They're still trying to grow. And I can tell you that this is another great album in a discography that I don't think gets talked about enough. As for my rating overall, I would give this a 8 out of 10. It is a great album, one of my favorites of the year so far, and could be in the running for album of the year. Who knows? We still got a long way to go. We still got other albums coming out that I plan on reviewing, so we are still a very, very long way from that. But if the year were to end today, it'd probably be my second favorite album of the year, but again, I haven't really reviewed much, although I've listened to a lot more than I've reviewed, so I can say that this right now is in the top 3 for albums that I've heard on the year. But that's it for me. You can tell me in the comments below if you've heard this album, what did you think of it, and until then, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.